We have purchased a red brick home on the central coast of New South Wales, a true ugly duckling. And whilst most people have told me it should be knocked down, I have a vision to transform this home into a Palm Springs inspired masterpiece. My name is James Treble. Throughout my career, I have worked with literally thousands of clients on their own renovate or rebuild journeys, but this time it's personal. Our renovation project has certainly come a long way, and that ugly red brick duckling house that we purchased is almost unrecognisable. As the final pieces of my Palm Springs inspired vision start to click into place, it's a case of all hands on deck, plus boxes all at once. Out on our new alfresco, our tiler Joel has poured some self-leveling cement. This will ensure that we end up with a level surface for him to apply our brand new 600 by 600 porcelain tiles. The glue compound that he uses when tiling will have enough give to ensure that we get a fall away from the house and out to the rear of the yard. Inside, all of the modules from Apollo Kitchens and Joinery have arrived. Our living and dining space is quickly becoming a storeroom. I'm excited to see Jessica on site. She's very hands-on and she's overseeing the whole process. It's kitchen time, removing the flooring protection so that Sam can get to work and start to install that striking new kitchen. He starts with the frame for the kick plate of our new kitchen island. It's going to anchor the design and sit in the middle of the room. The boys from Apollo are helping him place all of the modules roughly into place. This will allow them to be within easy reach because when he gets started, he's essentially a one-man machine. Paul, Mark and Sandra are getting busy removing some of the other building materials that we've stored inside, safe out of the weather. These have to be removed because we need even more storage space as another important delivery arrives. The truck from Signature Appliances is almost as stylish as their showroom. And as our brand new appliances start to arrive, it feels almost like Christmas. I can't wait to unwrap these and put them into place. Paul and Mark need to be in many places all at once today because there's so much happening. They're removing the cover from that rear opening of the kitchen. It's allowing the brand new window to be installed to our splashback. Stefan is here to install that window as well as the new French doors that open out onto the alfresco. It's a really exciting stage to see that final little slither of red brick disappear as Stefan installs the frame for the new French doors. Goodbye old red brick duckling and hello you minor springs. Outside, another pair of talented Central Coast tradies are busy at work. Ando and Shannon have started to place piles of masonry blocks throughout the yard. This will mean that they're within reach once they start to lay the new walls and raised garden beds. An earlier discussion has meant that we've got a delivery of white sand. This mixed with cement will create the mortar for our masonry walls, making sure that it blends in beautifully in colour. As if it's not busy enough, yet another delivery has arrived. This time it's our new mattresses from Bedshed. Jackie has come along for the drive to help with the delivery and check out progress on site. I've got to say I love working with other small business owners who are as equally hands-on as I am. I thought I knew a lot about mattresses, but there's actually a science behind achieving the perfect night's sleep. I loved visiting the Bedshed Tuggerah store. I got to chat with Jackie and hear all of the insights and her knowledge so that I could select the right mattresses for each of our new rooms. We've got two rooms that need queen beds, so we've got our room and another guest suite, and then I'm actually putting two double bunks in another room so that we can have 4 kids, so our kids with friends, or we can sleep more people. So we've got the singles.
Well, Sealy, great Australian brand, known for their Posturepedic range, and that's what I'm going to be recommending for your spare room. The Posturepedic range is great because it has firm, medium and plush. It's a coil spring mattress where the coils are connected together, and that creates the support for the mattress. The top layer of the mattress provides the comfort level.
Okay, so I want to check it out.
So you mentioned before that one of your challenges was around sleep disturbance.
Yeah.
The advantages of a pocket spring mattress is that the coils are not connected together, which means that you don't feel what's happening on the other side of the bed.
So one can be shuffling and flipping like me, and Sandra can just stay asleep.
You see each of the coils are individual. Your comfort layers change according to firm, medium, plush or super plush. I know this mattress is great, James, but I've got one more to show you, which is a foam mattress, so let's go and try that now.
Let's go.
Temper is not just any foam, it's a specialised foam. It's created with open cell technology, so therefore that enhances the breathability of the mattress. The advantages of a Temper mattress is that it's great for pressure point relief, so when you have some aches and pains, you have a big day, or you're an athlete that's training quite heavily, it's great for allowing you to be really comfortable in the bed.
I'm definitely more heavily than training heavily. I have to try it then.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. Back on site, I can start to see those 3 articulated features raising out of the ground in the new front fence. My stack bond lay pattern creates an almost grid-like effect, so the vertical and horizontal lines have to be perfectly in plumb. He cleans the mortar as he goes. He's using a little tool that actually creates that rounded edge in the mortar joint known as an iron joint. And this subtle detail creates that minimalist look, allowing the masonry blocks to be the star of the fence, not the joint. It's certainly back-breaking work and it would kill me, but these guys are pretty used to it. They look pretty fit. In fact, they love it as they laugh and chat, working their way around the front yard, just like a well-oiled machine. The design and measurements of my front fence and the raised garden beds is based upon the dimensions of my Brickworks masonry blocks. This involved a lot of measuring on site when I created the design, and then for Ando and Shannon to help realise my vision. But as it's starting to come up out of the ground, all of those crisp, clean new lines are complementing the renovated house behind. As the building of the kitchen proceeds, it's time to install the new splashback window, and Stefan needs to make sure that the height of the window is perfectly in line with the new joinery cabinets. That's going to allow our bench top to sit on top of them and slide into the base of the new window reveal. The flooring transition between the kitchen and the alfresco is a tricky one, but between the 3 of us, there's no lack of ideas. In just one day, Sam has done an amazing job and installed all of the modules for the kitchen joinery. I'm enjoying checking out all of those designer details with Jess, who is as equally as excited as I am. Whilst I'm used to dealing with all of the intricate details and planning that's required for a rebuild or a renovation, it's common for some things to change on site during construction. In our case, Sandra and I are reviewing the location of the kitchen island. I placed it on the drawing based on how I think that the room would work, but now that we can see it in place, we're actually going to get Sam to tweak it slightly to the left towards the fridge. I'm going to reduce that area down to 1100, 1.1 meters. It's adequate as a workspace and works really well. That's actually allowing me almost a meter on the other side. It's the access point through those new French doors to the alfresco. And because I've got a curved corner on that island, the opening actually feels wider than it is. So this little detail and change will actually elevate the function and practicality of our new kitchen. Sam is dealing with the adjustment of the kitchen, making sure the door and drawer fronts are all perfectly in line. He's also installing a panel to the underside of our wall cabinets. This was an add-on detail, but it's actually very important so that you don't see the bottom of the white carcass if you can see underneath. This means that I get to enjoy that vignette finish in forage green on the doors and underneath. At the edge of this panel, there's a channel. This is going to be the location for our LED strip lighting. That's going to create decorative light as it shines against the splashback, as well as really practical light, because this is, after all, a workspace. Now that he's finished dealing with the kitchen, it's time for him to walk over to the other side of the room and crack on with the bar, linen and laundry. Now, part of the design of this joinery meant that I had to create space for our appliances. The appliances are 600 deep, The joinery is 500 deep. That meant removing part of the wall. The team at Apollo have actually created a fully lined box. Sam is able to slide this in under the window and the washing machine will then slide into that. It's creating a perfectly clean joint. In fact, nobody will see it, but it's just a subtle little detail that you get when you work with a great company. As the sun rises on another glorious Central Coast morning, in the front yard our brickies are hard at it and they're actually making great progress. Now it's time for them to start with the little intricate step-out details in the front part of the fence. It's going to require a little bit of work and a bit of cutting. The design of my front fence is all about creating perfectly straight lines. There's a lot of detail. Thankfully, their meticulous attention to detail means that I'm achieving that high-end, crisp, clean result that I'm after. I'm so happy with how it's looking. Sam is essentially a one-man machine and he uses clever tools to allow him to single-handedly attach each module to the next one. And this is important, especially when dealing with the overhead cabinets. I'm repeating another feature from the kitchen, that beautiful curve that I used on the island, but this time it's on the corner of the bar on both the base and the overhead cupboard. The curve is definitely a beautiful detail, but I've elevated this further by using Polytech's Steco wood product. I used Cove, which has got that beautiful indent, and placing these vertically has created a curve with more texture. The colour match of the polyurethane to my forage board is perfect. It's allowing the flow of colour from one finish to another to be seamless. And that vertical rib detail is picking up on the elements that I've used throughout the house, on the cladding outside and the cladding inside. Apollo Kitchens and Joinery also have a stonemason division. Now they've been on site, they've check measured the kitchen, the laundry, the bar, and also our outdoor areas. Each of the pieces of stone have been cut, their edges polished. The holes have also been cut for our sinks and our cooktop. They've all been manufactured in a safe and controlled environment within their factory. And now each of those individual pieces have been delivered on site and they're ready to be installed. The mix of green and gold within the veins in Arabetto work perfectly with my forage green doors. I've combined brushed brass in my Momo handles and a bit of bling now in that drop-in Parisi sink and tap. Together they combine to create a beautiful palette. It means that we're going to be doing our washing in true Palm Springs style. The bench tops in our outdoor joinery had to of course be suited to the outdoor environment. I've selected Palm Shade from Caesarstone's outdoor range. It's got a very subtle light grey vein that runs through it. It's quite calm. It picks up the colour without competing with our amazing terrazzo tiles on the floor. And this is going to be teamed with the texture of the vertical cladding. We've dropped in another sink, this time in stainless steel, perfectly appropriate for its outdoor location. It's almost ready to fill up with ice and put some bottles of wine there for a nice alfresco dinner. And the cutout is already in place for our new barbecue. Our front fence is coming along nicely. Vertical steel bars have been placed into the footings. These will go up through the holes of the masonry blocks to provide structural strength. Ando's adding some additional horizontal steel bars on top of different rows of the masonry blocks. This way, our front fence and garden beds will never move. It's always busy on our renovation and another exciting delivery has arrived. This time, it's from Cave Home. Their boxes have been delivered onto our loading dock. Well, actually, it's not a loading dock. That's the landing for our brand new entry foyer, but it's definitely doubling up as a loading dock today. Our bench tops, joinery and appliances are all in place and I've got to say it's looking better than even I could have imagined. The design of this space is actually quite pared back. I want the colours and the finishes to be the standout. For my handles, I've decided to go with lip handles. These sit on top of the door and slightly angle, allowing me to easily open the doors but not dominate the look of the design. For their finish, I've gone with brushed brass. As I'm looking over the kitchen with Jess, I'm pointing out the little detail that I noticed. The lip handles have actually been recessed into the sides of the doors. Normally the lip handle is attached on top, but Sam has gone to the trouble of cutting the edge strips and recessing the handles. This means that the gap between the top of my doors and the bench top, and vertically where I've got handles on the pantry and in the linen, is really narrow and refined. So I love that that's so integrated and that line on top, and then I end up with that nice form over it. I can be, you know, straight, rinse and stack. It's like my exercise. To continue watching, just click through to episode 7, part 2.